What is up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at Milan Fashion Week. I'm gonna cover top 5 biggest shows from men's spring-summer 24 season. On today's menu we have Prada, Fendi, Dolce Gabbana, also Valentino and Dsquared2. Alright guys, let's get started. Prada explores fluidity of menswear in the recent Spring 24 collection. Co-creative directors Miuccia Prada and Raf Simons said that this collection was all about experimenting with the idea of a fluid architecture around the human body. The show took place in Milan in the Deposito of the Fondazione Prada. The set design and its industrial meshed runway radiated kind of spooky and futuristic vibes. In a way, it resembled a scene from the movie Alien. As a form of fluid architecture, lines of slime was dripping from the ceiling and piling up into sticky and foamy puddles on the floor. Miuccia Prada and Raf Simons dressed their Spring 24 men in outfits that echoed the relationship between the industrial meshed runway and the sticky plasma that came out of it. The starting point was a tailored silhouette featuring broad shoulders and a cinched waist. Raf Simons said the silhouette was taken from 1940s menswear and modernized through Prada standards. As a result, designers came up with signature looks of Spring 24 collection. Here we have 1940s influenced looks with radical pinched waist silhouette, where strong shoulder jacket hybrids can be tucked into high-waist pants or balloon shorts. They also emphasized an idealized male form, wide shoulders and narrow waist, heightened by extra long sleeves with button cuffs. Besides 1940s influence, designers said a shirt was a point of departure in almost every look. Shirt and its structure and details were borrowed as a base to transform an entire stable of menswear, suits, raincoats, active sportswear, and reporter jackets. Beginning with simplicity, the collection proposes a notion of expansion and amplification of an idea. Designers said the ultimate aim was a constant awareness of the body within and its liberation. As other influences backstage, the designers dropped the names of several artists they appreciate. Matthew Barney for his body-centric works and color palette, Joseph Beuys for his sculptural forms, and H.R. Giger, known for his biomechanical art. He was the one responsible for visual designs in the original movie Alien. This influence is obvious on printed shirts with creatures looking like sci-fi dragons and aliens. The designers experimented also with other ways to decorate shirts. Roller Hawaiian shirts were curtained with a long fringe, creating motions. Others were decorated with 3D origami blooms. Prada shirts in this collection, well, nearly all of them had extra long sleeves, covering models' hands entirely. The co-creative directors took their shirt revolution even further. They transformed traditional shirts into full-length coats. Styling-wise, they can be worn without pants, and for more elevated looks, they can be paired with a functional vest. As I mentioned, German artist Joseph Beuys was named as one of the influences of the collection. This is obvious looking at the Prada models dressed in multi-pocket vest, white shirts and denim pants. Well, this is exactly how Joseph Beuys liked to dress. Other interesting items spotted on the runway were polo shirts. They were elevated with details like fur tufts sprouting from shoulders and back. Styling was done casually with pickup boxers and denim pants. The last segment was the iteration of signature looks in different tones and materials. Denim was introduced gradually, and others were done with utility twists. Once again, Prada delivers an absolute superstar collection. Co-creative directors Miuccia Prada and Raf Simons liberate men and propose an absolute freedom of the body. Love the 1940s twist and references to H.R. Giger and Joseph Beuys. Only critic I can think of probably is too much repetition. A lot of looks were iterated multiple times with different color and material. Valentino menswear line finally gets a much-needed attention. The House Spring 24 collection was the first standalone men's show in years. Well, we all know how creative director Pier Paolo Piccioli loves literature-focused projects, and this collection was a continuation of that. It was titled The Narratives. It takes inspiration from literature and uses the art of tailoring to redefine an identity of man. It's all about re-examining a meaning of masculinity and discovering a new, modern perspective. The inspiration for Valentino's menswear collection comes from a novel, Elite Life, written by Hanya Yanagihara in 2015. Pier Paolo Piccioli chose this novel as the basis for an examination of shifts in masculinity. It's very important to me to redefine the masculine identity, he said at post-show press conference. He explained further how the signifiers of power and success have so far defined the idea of masculinity, and how the society relegates men in predetermined boxes. As opposed to this, he believes that true power and strength are about the freedom to show your own fragility and sensitivity. Clearly, this state of mind led him to stage a show in the garden of Milan's public university. Students were invited to watch the show from the courtyard. Piccioli's choice of location was part of his quest for creative practice that is better accessible to younger audiences. It was meant to break the elitism of fashion and ignite a much-needed change. As expected, Piccioli's starting point was classic masculine garments, which he subtly subverted through a gentle approach. The designer started by softening the proportions of boxy blazers, replacing pants with brief shorts and skirts, and embroidering flowers on lapels. Similarly, tailored coats were softened and eased. Transformed context can shift perception, so tailoring, once emblematic of power and success, can now be worn by a new generation as an expression of individuality. Message is clear: Valentino man is not afraid to wear a silk coat embellished with floral patterns or an emerald green jacket embroidered with flowers and sequins, and shade of pink is no longer a taboo. Apart from tailoring, classic workwear pieces were given delicacy. Normally, they are seen as uniforms of masculinity. Piccioli tried to change this by softening and easing overall shapes. He subtly evolved the details and shapes in a way to transform the whole. More literally, quotes from the novel that inspired the collection were printed on suit jackets and denim pants. One of them read, "We are so old, we have become young again. The past can be part of the present," explained Piccioli. Here he was also referring his decision to stage the show in Milan, which is a reflection of the past, as founder Valentino Garavani staged his first menswear show in Milan in 1985. Alright, guys, that sums up this amazing collection pretty much. It was all about questioning of conventions and re-evaluation of the rules. Creative director Pier Paolo Piccioli imagined a new limitless take on the masculine wardrobe. The designer made it clear that it's not necessary to run away from predefined rules and that they can actually be overturned, even in an imperceptible way. After exploring 70s nightlife and disco in the last collection, Silvia Fendi felt the urge to celebrate work and workwear. Looks like, after all, it's all about play hard and work hard. Alright, the show was staged in the brand's new 50 million leather goods factory just outside of Florence. All the bags used in the collection were made here in this factory. Well, staging the show in the new factory made sense, because the collection was all about workwear. This was meant to honor the artisans that actually make them. This is what Silvia Fendi said backstage. Here is where our work collides with our sense of family. Sometimes, when a collection is coming, we ask our artisans to work a lot as we develop prototypes and make changes at the last minute, and they are all committed. She continued how in fashion everything is all about designer, and that's what she wanted to change. She wanted to let everyone know who actually makes the items and in what conditions. Alright, the show opener looks are done in tan fabric and they are made in a paper blend. It reflects the process of making and prototyping a new bag design. As expected from workwear-inspired collection, everything looked functional. The signature items were work aprons and functional leather skirts. Work aprons had tool belts on top, fully equipped with a set of traditional leather working tools. Apart from work aprons, we saw a lot of functional skirts. They had multiple pockets all around, probably enough to carry whatever tools you need for your work. Alright, Fendi also embraces a contemporary aesthetic. A lot of designs included modern twists and creative interpretations of classic styles. For instance, the house discreet sensuality was expressed in a halter neck shirt. It was a modern take on a classic shirt with a reworked apron silhouette. Moreover, a lot of casual and functional shirts were sent down the runway. Some of them even had prints of toolkits and work instruments. As always, Fendi accessories looked super fun and on point. Work shirts featured loops, probably to attach a measuring tape, while double F bags, shaped like pencil pods, served as coffee holders. Speaking of bags, Fendi did a collab with Japanese architect Kengo Kuma. He worked on new designs for Fendi Pikapu bag. He used materials like a handmade paper, tree bark, and bamboo. Other Fendi accessories included coffee cup holders, safety glasses, and visitor passes. Finally, looking at the shoes, we had no loafers or brogues inside. Nearly all the models walked the runway in leather clogs with rubberized soles. They emulated the styles worn by workers around heavy machinery. The last segment of the show was yet another nod to the artisans and their craftsmanship. Clothing looks had a stitching pattern that is normally used for fitting alterations. As Sylvia Fendi explained, the stitching patterns echoed the internal structure of her grandma's earliest celery line. Once again, Fendi demonstrates that the house is still on top of the game, a big contrast from previous 70s and nightlife-inspired collection. But I feel like that's a good thing. Sylvia Fendi keeps exploring new things and gives us no chance to be bored. By staging the show in the new factory, Fendi showed off their high standards and gave us a sneak peek. It was indeed a nice way to pay homage to the artisans who kept the house going. Dolce & Gabbana showcases Spring 24 collection in Milan. The collection, titled Style, flawlessly blended traditional tailoring with contemporary elements and design. This is second show in a row where designers focus on timeless clothing and recognizable legacy. Here is what Domenico said, quoting, "Bombarded as we are by the constant noise of social media and by the turnover of trends, influencers of not so reliable standing, we keep asking ourselves, will people remember us? Will we leave a remarkable enough legacy, a style that stands the test of time?" The show invitations designers sent to the guests was a black envelope containing a metal replica of a credit card and a booklet of collection images. The word style was printed in capital letters on its front page. As Stefano explained, the credit card is an indicator, a symbol of identity. It's about you being who you are. Long story short, designers tried to make something new in this collection, but within the codes of their identity and own style. They wanted to keep it recognizable, timeless, and at the same time evolved. The collection colors were limited to a sharp palette of black, white, caramel, gray, and dark brown. Prints more or less were absent, except from the polka dots on a see-through chiffon blouse with a breezy trailing bow. Clearly, at the core of this collection lies the art of tailoring, featuring impeccable cut garments that celebrate the evolution of Dolce & Gabbana signature codes. Again, the focus was on cut, construction, fit, and precise tailoring. Designers showcased a wide array of suits, blazers, and pants, accentuating the masculine silhouette. Classic designs were reimagined with contemporary cuts and unexpected details, demonstrating the brand's ability to blend tradition and innovation seamlessly. A lot of deconstructed suit jackets were on display. They resembled halter neck tops. Clearly, this is borrowed from women's wear and applied to menswear. Pinstriped suits were adorned with organza flowers. They were pinned on lapels, bringing a touch of softness and femininity. The craftsmanship and attention to detail were evident throughout the collection. It introduced an interesting interplay between structure and fluidity. T-shirts and tops were crafted using draperies resembling sculpted statues. These artistic elements added a unique architectural quality and created captivating visual effects. It was a nod to the pagan gods of Magna Graecia and the ancient Sicilian statuary. Floral theme was super dominant in the collection. This probably to add a softer and sensual touch into the overall aesthetic. All the transparencies with sculpted flowers adorned radiated a rich elegance and touch of femininity. Similar to Prada and Fendi, shirts were essential garment and Dolce Gabbana. Designers elevated this classic garment by masterful use of embellishments, including beads and embroidery. Others were done in sculptural forms with extra long sleeves. Moreover, designers gave us a glimpse into their archives. Paying tribute to their rich heritage, they handpicked garments from their archives, each labeled with the year of their original presentation. It was a nod to the brand's history. It was meant to merge the past with the present. To sum it up, the show underlines the brand's commitment to its tradition while embracing innovation with sharp tailoring, luxurious fabrics, and a sophisticated color palette. The collection offered a refreshing take on iconic pieces, emphasizing the brand's original codes and unique identity. The Dsquared Spring 24 collection explored the crossroads of fashion and adult entertainment. Keaton Brothers called it Dsquared2. For this one, they did a collab with Italy's adult film star Rocco Siffredi. He was there all the time on stage, filming stuff in the back with a VHS camera. His focus most of the time was Julia Fox and her model partner doing stuff on a bed. They were hidden from view by a foldable screen. Even though the show was physically in Milan, the set design was done in a way that it resembled a penthouse overlooking Miami Beach. There was a director's chair on a set and a couch ready for NSFW use. Similar to the previous Fall 23 collection, this one was highly influenced by Y2K aesthetics. It was like Y2K Rewind of all the codes that brand established over the past 2 decades. Keaton Brothers delivered a sexy and super bold collection, mixing together the nutty and the preppy in their signature style mashups. Dean and Dan said backstage that a narrative they imagined was a Palm Springs kind of country club meeting adult entertainment. And they were right. Majority of looks mixed golf and tennis-inspired aesthetics, coupled with Dsquared sexy denim and glitzy embellishments. And of course, there were a lot of exposed underwear, like briefs and white boxers, reading Siffredi Hard Academy. In some cases, underwear was the only wear. Keaton Brothers love stereotypes, and this collection was no exception. We saw stereotypical looks like Pay Guy, Cherry Boy, and a few more. Overall, the collection was dominated by rugby shirts, double-breasted suit jackets, vests, crop tees, polo shirts, and tank tops, coupled with color palette of pastel pinks, cream yellow, and light blue. And we had a lot of prints, including the Rolling Stones logo popping up on a few looks. Alright, the collection was also infused with Western elements. We had a lot of fringes, Western-inspired tops, etc. Dsquared cowboys walked in double denim ensembles, decorated with star patches, distressed details, and metallic leather. Well, here's an interesting fact. Turns out Rocco Siffredi co-designed a selection of pieces, including pull slides, belts, and high tops. And also we saw him wearing a navy double-breasted blazer, front-pleated jeans, and a red t-shirt, and a pair of underpants he slowly revealed to the audience without giving it all away. All in all, the collection was nutty, super bold, and totally Dsquared. In regards of the narrative, well, adult film stars are super trending on social media. Probably you've seen some of the podcasts or interviews on YouTube and TikTok. There are tons of videos with huge audience and a lot of views. Looks like Keaton brothers use this interest and hype for the narrative, and they were not wrong. Dean and Dan are truly on a roll right now. Alright, guys, that was it for today. Hope you enjoyed the review and got something out of it. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.